It's Betsy, and today we're gonna do a chit chat, get ready with me. Now, I haven't done one of these in a hot minute, but I wanted to get on here and talk about why I stopped doing my Keto and CrossFit updates and kind of how I'm feeling about things. But before we jump into that, I did want to say a big thank you to Dossier for partnering with me on today's video. Now, if you're not familiar with who Dossier is, they do luxury or designer-inspired fragrances for a fraction of the cost. When they reached out to me, I was able to choose 2 scents. I chose one that I have at home and one that I've never tried before. So, the one that I already have at home, this is Woody Tobacco, and I have the replica Maison Margiela Jazz Club fragrance at home. I have the full-size bottle. Me and my husband both love that scent, and it's $135 for the full size, which I think is 3.4 ounces, so it's expensive. And I will tell you, even to my probably not the most cultured nose, this smells identical, and it is a fraction of the cost. And when I say fraction, it is a fraction. This bottle on Dossier's website is $29. The purse spray from Replica is $30, and that isn't even a full ounce. This is 1.7 ounces. And as I said, it smells identical. Another thing I did want to mention is, and this seems trivial, but I actually love this feature. The caps are magnetic. So it goes on and it won't come off. And you're like, Betsy, why does that matter? If you've ever had a bottle of perfume or cologne spill in your bag when you're traveling or your purse, you will know why that's important. Because 1, cologne and perfume are super expensive, and 2, you don't want to smell like a whole bottle of cologne when you go out. And that just kind of gives it a little bit more security. And another thing I do really like about Dossier is their return policy. They have a full 30-day money-back guarantee. You order it, you buy it, you try it, you don't love it, send it back for a full refund. I think that that's great because for me, I live in the middle of nowhere, Texas. We don't have a lot of stores to be able to try out designer fragrances. So a lot of times when I order online, I order blindly. And a lot of times, places don't have the best return policy. I'm looking at you, Gucci. So that makes my little heart happy because the more money I save on fragrance, the more money I can spend on eyeshadow. But this one's great. But I was super excited for this. This is Oriental Cherry. Now this retails for $59 on Dossier's website, but this is based on Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Now Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, I've been interested in trying, but the purse spray, the tiny little purse spray, is $95. And that is not something I would typically buy myself. So to be able to try the scent, now I haven't smelled it in person, Tom Ford, but if it smells like this, it's awesome. And this scent reminds me of Wild Cherry Capri Sun. And you're like, Betsy, that's probably not the best scent, but it actually really is. Like there's something about it. It smells like summer. It smells delicious. And I love cherries anyway. So I am excited for this. But I did want to let you know, Dossier does have a welcome offer on their website. So if you sign up for emails, you can save 20%. But on top of that, they gave me a code. So if you use code Betsy, that will save you an additional 10%. So you can save even more, and it makes them a whole lot more affordable. Less money for scents, more money for eyeshadow. That's my policy. But yeah, thank you again to Dossier for partnering with me on this. And let's jump into our chit chat, get ready with me. So, I stopped doing my Keto and CrossFit updates. Well, because it was kind of getting I was getting a lot of judgment. Like if I didn't lose weight and it may have not even been people actually judging me, but it kind of felt that way. And a lot of this is kind of personal feelings. But, you know, I think body image is one of those things that is very difficult in today's time to talk about honestly, because, you know, you're supposed to love yourself. So if you're trying to lose weight, people are like, well, you're supposed to love your body. So you're kind of darned if you do and darned if you don't, where it's like, I want to be healthy and be able to move, but if I sit here and trying to lose weight, I feel like I'm being criticized for not loving my body. And I will tell you, some days I don't love my body, but for the most part, most days I do love my body and love myself. I'm pretty amazed at what I can accomplish on a regular basis. And, you know, it is what it is. And through everything that's happened with the pandemic, I mean, Lord knows, we've all gone through it with the pandemic. And I am a stress eater. I put on quite a bit of weight. And, you know, living in Texas, before I was vaccinated, I didn't feel comfortable going out places, and now that I am vaccinated with everything going on, I don't feel comfortable going out places. So I've been trying to figure out ways to get healthier at home. So I have been walking pretty much every single day, 7 days a week. And some days I will do, like if it's a small day, I'll do 3 miles. But most days I average, because we'll do multiple walks, I do 2 walks a day, I will do between 8 and 12 miles. Kind of just depends on how the day is going. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at on it. So that's been my main form of exercise, but I have gotten into some other stuff too, because I can't go to the gym and I want to get healthier. It's kind of like, well, what ways can I be active at home? So I got some roller skates. That is, let me tell you, that is pretty hilarious to watch me trying to roller skate, because I haven't done it in so long. But I got these super cute roller skates from Dossier. They had their tie-dye ones on sale for like 4 hours for half off. So I paid like 50 bucks for them. So I was excited. And then I also got, it's a yoga sling. So you can do aerial yoga, which one of the main reasons I got it is because I do so much walking now that I feel like my back was compressed, and I wanted to do some inverted moves. So I bought the yoga sling, and plus it also helps me work on my flexibility. That's part of it. It's not like, for me at the point that I'm at in my life, I don't know how everybody else is, but for me, it's not about size. It's not about being skinny. It's about movement and feeling healthy and making sure my numbers, like my cholesterol, my blood sugar, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to have health issues when I'm older. You know, seeing what has happened with, you know, the pandemic and all that has definitely made me nervous about quite a bit of stuff. So I want to be healthier. And, you know, yes, I still suffer from fibromyalgia, but I have figured out some ways to help control it without prescription medication, because one of the things, whenever I was trying different prescription medication, I was having a whole lot of side effects. Weight gain was one of them, you know, and when you're fighting with your body like that, it does frustrate you, and it makes it really difficult to kind of stick to things, because it's like, well, if I'm sitting here working out and eating like super healthy and it ain't doing any good, what's the point of continuing to do it? Or at least that's where my mind goes. You know, I am very much a goal-oriented person, but on top of that, if I don't see results, it's like the first thing I want to do is quit. And, you know, with everything that's going on, it's like, well, that's the easy answer in my mind too. But, you know, this time I've kind of stuck with things. I've been working on it for quite a while, and I am in a good place, or at least a good place for how I feel. You know, I am able to get out and move a whole lot more. Exercise has been an important part of it, and making sure not only I am exercising, but like my husband. That's why I do multiple walks during the day. So like in the morning before work, I will typically walk with Nadia, and if she's not walking with me, I will walk by myself. And then in the afternoons after Jeremy gets off, I will do another walk, because, you know, trying to help make sure he stays active. And to me, the activity level is the most important part for my health. That's what has made the most changes to my body and made me feel better, is my activity level. You know, I can sit there and eat nothing but like salads and green beans and still not feel good, but whenever I am, you know, working out, I feel so much more myself. And maybe that's part of it. Because when I was a kid, I was extremely active, and then, you know, you get older and you get desk jobs, and you get older and life gets in the way, and you're trying to do so many things all at once, and you kind of forget about yourself. Well, that's kind of what I'm trying to do now, is remind myself that I matter, and doing the things that are going to make me healthier and happier for me. But, you know, talking about it on the internet was very difficult for me to do. Like, it kind of helped me stay goal oriented, but if I didn't reach my goals, I got extremely frustrated. So I stopped talking about it, because I would get questions on how am I doing, and, you know, what did I do whenever I plateaued, or, you know, and it was becoming too much, because, you know, I want to be able to share my journey with y'all, but I also don't want it just to be about the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because the numbers, you know, seeing the number on the scale go down for myself makes me feel good. Yes, I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't. But I also don't want that to be the only thing that I'm basing how I feel about myself is the number on the scale. Because I will tell you that through everything that's happened, I am heavier than what I want to be, but my body looks better at this weight than it did 20 pounds lighter. I mean, and that's just part of it. And, you know, it's kind of knowing not your limitations, because I don't feel like I have a lot of limitations. It's like how hard I want to work will definitely help me improve. But it's also knowing, you know, there's got to be some give and take. You know, I don't want it all to be about just eating healthy and all this, because I also want to live. You know, I don't want to be 90 years old and being like, well, I should have had that piece of cake, or I shouldn't have worked out. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many things that matter so much more than your body. Your body is something you want to try to keep healthy. Or these are my opinions, but my body is something I want to keep healthy. But, you know, if I can't, happiness in the grand scheme of things is the part that matters the absolute most to me. I'm using the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. I wanted to try it. It's really, really pretty. But yeah, keeping myself healthy is definitely more of the thing that I am interested in at this point. Like, my size can be anything, but I mean, people don't realize that a lot. It's like, and they don't realize sometimes how they hurt you with their words, I guess is the best way for me to say it. Like, after I had lost weight, and then when I put it back on, I have heard, well, you let yourself go. Oh, you need to get back on your diet. You know, those types of things. And that doesn't make you feel good at all. It really doesn't. And y'all know those kinds of things. So it's like, why am I even going to talk about it anymore? And then when you do lose weight, even if it's not a healthy way, people are like, oh, you look so good. And to me, that is almost just as harmful, because then it's like you start to put your worth in your size, or I do. I mean, and that is an issue that I have, and something that I've struggled with a lot in my life, is putting my worth in what I look like. You know, I know I'm probably not the only person who struggles with that, but it's still not an easy thing to admit whenever you're sitting there saying, you know, I find myself beautiful when I look perfect, and then you can't be perfect. Like, there were so many years in my life, you know, I had kids young. Me and my husband have been together a long time, and we've had babies most of our marriage. But like, when my kids were little, there are very few pictures of me. I thought I was huge. I didn't want anyone to take pictures. Now, looking back and seeing the pictures that I do have from that time period, I'm like, one, why did I think I was so big. And two, you know, I regret it because it's like we have all these moments and memories, but those moments and memories don't include me because I ain't anywhere to be found. So those are things I definitely regret. And I try to make sure with my kids now, I am trying to teach them that what you look like on the outside doesn't matter, but also to be healthy. It's like this fine line that you have to walk. It's like, okay, I want to be healthy, but I also want to have a good body image. It's so difficult, and it's trying to explain to your kids and also not ruin their self-esteem. And oh, the world is so difficult, especially whenever you talk about so much stuff is seen on the internet. And people will say, I mean, and that's part of the reason why I stopped posting, is because I would get awful comments from people, but sometimes but I also got wonderful ones. Does that make sense? It's like, if I could get rid of the people who are just buttholes all the time, life would be so much better for me. But it almost feels like that kind of stuff is impossible. Impossible. But, you know, it is what it is. I forget how pretty this foundation is. Right now it's a little light for me, but it's so good. But yeah, it's knowing more about yourself and trying to figure out, you know, the closer I get to 40, the less I'm starting to care about what people think about me, you know, or because, you know, you're not going to be able to please everyone. For the most part, you're not going to be able to please anyone. There's always going to be something that someone doesn't like about you. It could be your best friend and they'd be like, well, you know, she does this. So it's like, why? I mean, I'm not saying don't try, but I'm also saying do what makes you happy, because in the grand scheme of things, that is what matters the most. You know, the long game is you got to keep yourself happy and accountable, because, I mean, you're the person that's got to look out for you. If that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do y'all handle conversations, if you're a parent, with your kids about body image and stuff like that? Because, I mean, that is the one conversation. Like, I talk to my kids about pretty much everything, but I will tell you, body image is one of those conversations that is so difficult to have, because it's like, you don't want to mess them up, but you also want them to be healthy, you know? So it's like, what do you do? I always feel like that. Like, help me. Help me help you. That's how I feel. But yeah, I mean, as I said, there's so much to it, and it's like, how do you handle this? What is the best thing for you to do when it comes to kids? Because as I said, that's where I struggle the most. And I don't know. I mean, I still struggle with my own body image, but I'm slowly but surely learning to really love myself and love myself for the way that I am. One thing with it is part of it is seeing myself kind of through my husband's eyes has also been something that has helped, you know, because he loves me no matter what I look like. He tells me I'm beautiful if I'm 100 pounds, and tells me he loves me and I'm beautiful if I'm 200 pounds. So to him, I am worthy no matter what, which really kind of helps me. And one of the things I have told him, I'm like, we have sat down and talked about it. It was like, you know, when we were younger, he would say it all the time. As we've gotten older, you know, it's kind of one of those things I'm supposed to know, but I don't always. And I'm like, you know, whenever you tell me that you think I'm beautiful, it helps me. It makes me feel good about myself. You know, who doesn't love a good compliment? I mean, as I said, that's, to me, that is very, very important. But that has also helped, you know, making knowing that I'm still beautiful and desirable to him, as I said, that is helpful to me. So, I mean, and those are conversations, like, if you're not hearing it from your spouse anymore, that doesn't mean that they don't believe that. It just means that maybe they forgot to tell you. And that happens. I mean, because, you know I'm not as vocal with my husband either about, ooh, you look good today. You know what I'm saying? Like I was when we were younger, because, life. But having those conversations and being like, hey, this makes me feel really good whenever you're telling me this. If you feel it, really does kind of help the situation, or it did for us. So I would definitely recommend having those conversations, but yeah, I don't know. Body image, as I said, that is one of the hardest conversations to have, and to have honestly. Because even if you are the most body positive person, you can still have bad days. Does that make sense? It's like you can love yourself 100% and have a bad day, and then pretty much feel like you hate yourself. And then it's like, it's almost like whenever you have those days though, you have to kind of start over, if that makes sense, or at least I do. It's like I have to teach myself how to love myself. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that's something that I tend to struggle with quite a bit, but I do. And, part of the thing is I want to have these conversations with y'all open and honest, because I know that I am not the only person who's feeling like this. Like, I know that others do too. And you can have these same feelings, whether it's because you feel like you're too big, or because you feel like you're too small, because you feel like you're flabby, because, you feel like your boobs are too big. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have our insecurities, and that's okay. But also learning to talk about it and to have those things out in the open kind of helps not only you, but it helps other people in the same process, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about things. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm still lucky in that aspect. And, I am getting healthier. Yes, I have lost weight. And part of the reason why I did decide to do this video is because I've had a lot of people ask, because there's a difference in how my face looks. When you lose weight, that can happen. But I wanted to talk about it my way without doing like a sit down formal video of, oh, this is what I'm doing to lose weight. Because it's really not about losing weight. It is really more about health and mental health. Because also doing my exercise and stuff like that, doing my walking in the morning, especially because Nadia will typically do like 3 miles with me, and then for my other 3 to 4 that I'm doing it by myself, I have time to myself to talk to myself. And especially during everything that's going on, we don't go anywhere, we don't do anything. So it makes it very difficult, when there's always a house full of people, it makes it very difficult to have any time to yourself. But yeah, I mean, that gives me that mental clarity. And the one thing I will say is, like, if you are trying to get healthier and get more active, find an activity that you enjoy doing, and then it doesn't feel like exercise, whether it be walking or dancing or skating or swim, you know what I'm saying? Find that thing that makes you happy and do it. Because I'm sure that everybody has some, I mean, like, not all activity feels like exercise, or at least it doesn't to me. Like when you're talking about, like, if you're someone who likes gardening, well, that can still be exercise. Purposeful extra movement is always important. Now, I do track everything that I do. My Apple Watch is a good benchmark for telling me where I'm at and how far I've come. Like, if I've increased my activity, if I've increased my exercise, you know what I'm saying? Like, it definitely is something that is extremely helpful when it comes to that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, that's all part of it. Is it does make it very difficult when you feel like you have the world's eyes on you, judging you if you don't reach your goals. But it's also, you know, we're human. We're not perfect. It's not going to always be the easiest thing in the world, you know. As you get older, it gets harder. And the more things you got going on, it's like, oh, when's there going to be me time? One thing that I am blessed with is that my children are getting older. You know, Nadia turns 21. Caden's 19. Cameron just is 14 and a half, fixing to be 15. Oh my gosh, I'm fixing to have another driver. That is a scary thought, just to let you know. But, you know, they're older. They don't need me as much. Or let me rephrase that. Your kids will always need you. But as they get older, a lot of times it's just for advice and to talk. It's not always about, you know, I need you to go bring my science project to school, you know, that kind of thing anymore. I need you to give me 20 bucks so I can go to the movies, kind of thing. But they still need you, but they don't need you in the same way. So you do end up with a little bit more time to yourself, which I always think is super important. You know, you cannot be an effective parent if you're completely stressed and you're taking anger and stuff out on your kids, because part of the thing is you need a break, and it is okay to say you need a break. Moms, dads, remember this. You can say you need a break, and that is perfectly okay. You can say, I need to get away from my kids, especially with everything that's going on. I mean, look at, you know, how much more time have I know for myself personally with everything that's happened. I spend a whole lot more time with my kids than what I did. And it's not a bad thing, but I mean, it's also like, hey, give me some time to myself. So as a parent, it is okay for you to be like, hey, I need a break. And it's okay for you to even need a break from your spouse. You know, they don't always tell you that. And I will tell you that it is okay. It is very much okay. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, there's so much in life in general that just, it can be so difficult to deal with. And, you know, body image is one of those things that I just don't want to fight with anymore. You know, I feel like it's something that I have struggled with for all my life. I mean, I know body image is something that boys and girls and everyone in between all deal with, you know, no matter which way you identify. It's a struggle, and the struggle is real. But know that you can love yourself, and this is the one thing that I kind of wanted to get across in this video, is know that you can love yourself and still want to improve yourself. And also know that, you know, your worth is not the number on the scale. And your worth is not the number on your pants. Your worth is not the number of miles you can do. Your worth is who you are. Are you good? Are you kind? Those things matter more, or at least they do to me. I don't know about everybody else, but to me, that is what is most important. You know, it's like I tell the kids, I don't care if you grow up to be rich. I don't care if you grow up to be famous. I want you to be kind. And I want you happy. Kind and happy. Those are the things to me that matter the most. Because when you're on your deathbed, you know, you're not sitting there saying, I wish I would have earned more money. Because that's not what matters in the end. People matter. she's just, she's something else. But yeah, people are what matter, or at least that's what I think. But yeah, that's where I'm at on things. I mean, see, I always do that. Do y'all do that? Like, I am terrible about touching my face with my mascara. It is one thing that I do on a pretty regular basis and end up with like extra dots of stuff, which I guess it really doesn't matter because I haven't put on my inner corner highlight yet. We're gonna try this shade. This is really pretty. But yeah, I mean, knowing what matters, I think, is the most important thing in life, and realizing that people matter more than stuff, I guess, is the best way to put it. But yeah, I stopped doing it because I got judged and it hurt my feelings. But it's also, it is very, very difficult to put yourself out there like that on the internet. It really is. And I don't think people always realize it, but you know, now I'm at the point where I'm like, let's take it one day at a time. And if I fail for a day, I just kind of keep going. You know, I don't let it affect me to the point where it sets me back completely like it used to. Because that was one thing that I really struggled with is, you know, if I had a bad day, especially when I was talking about like weight stuff on the internet, I didn't want to do it anymore. And I ended up starting and stopping so many times, it's not even funny. But yeah, that's the final look. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Let me know your experience and your thoughts and how you deal with your kids with all this kind of stuff, because that is where I struggle. But I guess that's it for today's video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it 2 thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos, which is typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with a lot of bonus content thrown in as well. But I guess that's it, so we'll see y'all later.